Just under 22,600 miles and 142 generator hours. A Challenger 35-foot double slide coming in here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Overall, a couple little blips on it, but frankly, you know, this thing is a 2004 that has less wrong with it than my car that's a 2013. I'm not really offended by anything that I see. So, I tend to be a person that talks about elephants and gets them out of the room. Let's talk about some elephants and get them out of the room. Overall, the roof is actually in pretty good shape. It's very obvious the owner was on top of their washing and conditioning regimens. All of the sealants that you see are actually the original factory sealants. The owners used it for 3 months at a time in Florida. Other than that, had it stored out of the weather. Now, Florida weather does add up over a number of years, and it has taken a little bit of its toll. And when I climbed up here, I discovered a couple things like this front termination strip. It needs a couple little touch-ups. It's okay, but it's not ideal. And the owner of this RV said, because we're selling this on consignment, which that's what this location is. We sell these RVs for people. Don't let that mess with your head, though. We can still do trades and financing and hitching and everything on a used RV that you expect from a dealership like Haylett RV, we can still do here. But this RV is currently owned by its one and only original owner. It's a one-owner RV. So I looked up here and said, you know what? It needs a couple spot sealants. It's done remarkably well over the years, but it does need a few things. Then I got back here and the rear termination strip is done. Previous owner said, we've had way too much fun with this thing. I care about it too much, and I'm not going to sell it like that. So this will all get redone, and the roof will be spot sealed as required. Now, that being said, there is a little spot inside the RV that was affected as a result before the previous owner was aware of what was happening here. That area of the RV corresponds to back here in the corner of the rear master bedroom. It's easy to miss because it's pretty minor. This is all very recent, but you can see how there is a little watermark up here on these roof membranes. And I say all the time, these soft roof membranes are awesome for a couple reasons. One, they cancel a ton of noise because it was really noisy outside and you can't hear anything except my nasally voice in here just rattling on. But secondly, if there ever had been any sort of leak issue in the RV whatsoever, this stuff stains and it's very easy to spot. I did notice there is a small amount of little braille bumps on the wall over here as a result of that water exposure. These are little spores that grow effectively. But it is very localized, it is very minor, everything is still very solid, completely structural. I'm of the belief that this is something that happened very recently, likely within the last month or two, and the previous owner again going to have us go through and reseal that rear strip so that this is already arrested. It's not going to get better, but it's not going to get worse. And considering the dollars they're asking on this used RV, I don't, like I said, it doesn't really bother me too much when this 04 motorhome has less wrong with it than my 2013 car. There's a wee bit of crackly wallpaper just below both front windows. The general consensus here is it looks to be a symptom of condensation related issues because it is very surface level. It's all solid. If you pound on it, it's not structural, but it's there. You deserve to know about it. But again, it's an 04. I've never claimed it's in perfect shape. But that being said, anything that really matters, actually not too bad here. Like overall, you can see inside and outside, the RV's been kept clean. The exterior's been kissed by the sun, but overall it's been kept clean pretty nicely. We do have dual airs to keep you cool in that hot weather. We got the bigger Max Air vent fan style fan above the kitchen living area here for some good airflow. I like the light colors. What's funny is, you know how what's old is new again. This is roughly what is kind of on trend with the color palette of a lot of new RVs today. Very similar to something like the Freedom Express Ultralights that we're seeing just roll right out of here right now at Haylett RV. And tons of windows. And that's another thing. This thing has tons of windows, tons of light, tons of airflow. And that's something I think you're going to appreciate at your destination. This is one of the only RVs I've seen of this age, motorized rather, that still has the original TVs and everything in place. Another thing I thought was kind of cool, previous owner had some ownership maintenance records, like there's new front tires on this thing. The rear Goodyear tires look still fantastic. But they included a handy set of like little like note cards. that have little instructions on how to operate things on this RV. So there's always a little bit of a learning curve associated with getting any RV, especially a motorhome. Motorhomes are very different from one to the other, whereas a lot of trailers tend to be very similar. But those handy little instructions, I think, are going to help cut that learning curve quite a bit. We have power side mirrors, and you can see right down next to that steering wheel, it does have the full automatic leveling system there. And generally speaking, the owner was pretty good about staying on top of routine maintenance and upgrade things. They noticed that the auto leveling system was acting a little wonky last year, so they actually just had a whole new circuit board replaced into that auto leveling system so that it operates properly. They just kind of reached a point where the guy even said, I'm just getting too old to be driving this thing down those highways anymore. It's just getting to be a bit much for me, and I think it's time that we moved on to something else. And I've got a lot of respect for people who, recognize that. I like that. I really like that. Sort of, it's still very neutral, but on the lighter end of the wood tones here. And there's those handy little, almost like kitchen recipe cards that have instructions on how to operate, like parking procedures and, when you're getting ready to break camp kind of things. And a lot of that is the stuff that, like, once you do it, it's very simple to remember. But when they only use this RV, like they had 9-month breaks in between when they were using it, it was nice for them to have notes on that. Right next to the refrigerator here, you can see you've got a very tall pantry. And this thing also has a lot of closet space. Like you can see that big mirrored like hallway closet here with a ton of dresser space below. Now, as we work our way into the bedroom, that trend of a lot of personal closet and dresser storage space continues. You've actually got 2 of these big full-size closets and plenty of dresser drawers all the way around. And once again, all the original electronics are still here, all the remote controls. Everything's in good working order. It's ready to find its second owner. That's another thing is, you don't usually find a one owner, I just ran into the TV over here, a one owner 04. I like how you've got the extra side stands right on each side of the bed slide with some handy outlets. Nice large side stands too. Very easy for CPAP users to be able to get stuff up there. And this is maybe a better angle to tell how large and how deep that closet is, because obviously the closet is as deep as that wall is. And of course, sliding privacy door, and I just about walked past the bathroom and didn't pop my head in here. I'm all sorts of off kilter since I started on the roof. Usually that's where I end. Like a lot of motorhomes, we've got a little bit taller ceiling in here, but unlike trailers, it's easier to have a tall bathroom shower area because it's easier to recess plumbing a little bit further into floors of motorhomes as compared to a lot of towable RVs. The main decks often have a big step up to the shower that this just really doesn't have. Overall, the outside looks pretty good. As I mentioned when we were up on the roof, eventually that Florida sunshine will take its toll on anything, even if it's only down there for about a quarter of the year. Like most motorhomes, it is a wide body to give you that extra living space when you reach there. That also helps you navigate and access the RV when those slides are closed. You can see that this did used to have slide awnings on it. The weather has taken their toll on those, and most owners will do this. They'll leave the original hardware on so that you don't have any sort of exposed screw heads or anything like that, and just simply remove the material. You see the little sticker here for the Triton V10. We are on a Ford chassis that'll give her about a 5,000 pound tow rating. These front Firestones, again, these are replaced in 2018. The rear dual Goodyears look to be in fantastic shape. We'll take a look at those in a second. I just wanted to kind of back up and give you a little bit more of a panoramic view over before we swept down the sidewall. Interestingly, the darker decals have held up a little bit better than the lighter ones. Usually it goes the opposite of that, although you can see a fair amount of weathering on both of those. But the fact is, she's here, she's not falling apart, and if you don't like the look of that sort of desert cracked floor kind of thing, take a real good power washer and blow that worst of that right off of there and leave yourself with a nice sort of white sidewall coach. And every time I hear someone do that, they're always like, that actually does look pretty cool when it's all cleaned up like that. So the original tires are on the back here. They look good. I don't see any sort of funky wear patterns where there was like a bad tire pressure scenario that was left unchecked for too long or anything of that variety. As we back up here, you'll see the rear ladder. I've clambered up and down on that. That's one of those things I was kind of curious about when I spotted the little wacky spot on the roof up there. I went, I'm going to be a little more careful going down the ladder stanchions here, and they were just aces. like I said, it ain't perfect, but it is far from dead. I've certainly seen worse. I've been called worse by my wife today, in fact. LOL. So, you like what you see? You have questions, which I'm sure you do, give us a call. One of the things we can do for you, we'll get this pulled up to the building, get it plugged in, and let you get to see everything in working order before you ever make anything official. I wouldn't expect you just to take our word for it, although we've obviously gone way out of our way to try to demonstrate that we are decent, reasonable, fair shooting folks. So if that sounds good, give us a jingle. 800-256-5196, Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.